Hello, everybody, and welcome to Vinyl Treasures. I'm your host, Johnny G. John Galindo, coming to you live each and every Saturday, only here on Topshelfoldies. Want to welcome you to the August 8th, 2020 Vinyl Treasure Show. Glad you can join Johnny G on this summer day. Kind of humid today, not so hot, but I was in the air conditioning all day, and actually I didn't get enough sleep, so I'm a little bit tired, so I may transpose some things tonight. But anyway, it's a special show because I brought out the 78's again. I got about 10 78's, I think 10 or 9 78's. I can't count. I posted them up on my Facebook wall. You can check them out. Then I posted quite a few of the 45's I'll be featuring. Some requests and mixed in some rarities and whatnot. What we always do, we count down the music chronologically. Although with the 78's, there's a lot of early sides, so I kind of mixed it up a little bit. But anyway, you'll get the flow of it. But glad you can join me tonight. So we opened up with a singer, originally singer from Hot Springs, Arkansas, known mostly for his R&B vocals, beginning with the RCA record label back in 1949, and then also recorded for the RCA subsidiary Groove labels. But then he signed with Sid Nathan's King label in 1956, and he also played tenor sax. We just featured his fourth release on the King label, a song he co-wrote. It was called Duck Walk, and it was by Big John Greer. Big John Greer doing tenor sax from May 1957 on the King label. I have it on a bio promo. It's called Duck Walk. So I'm going to be rotating back and forth from turntable number 1 to turntable number 2, 78's and 45's. We're going to open it up with a 78, and we're going to kick it off here with on the Leo Rogers and Sid Archie's All-Star label. It features Freddie Johnson on lead. This one from September 1956 on the All-Star label. The Performers with their tune I'll Make You Understand on a 78.
You know I love you, yes I do. I truly hope you love me too. Come with me, darling, I'll make you understand. We'll stroll together down Lover's Lane. Please have no fear, I'll hold your hand. We'll be so happy now that you understand. I'm never gonna leave you. I'm never gonna let you get away from me. You are my heart's desire. I'll never let you go. We'll stroll together down Lover's Lane. Please have no fear, dear. I'll hold your hand. We'll be so happy now that you understand. I'm never gonna leave you. I'm never gonna let you get away from me. You are my heart's desire. I'll never let you go. Let's go together down Lover's Lane. Please have no fear, dear. I'll hold your hand. We'll be so happy now that you understand. Now that you understand. Now that you understand. Now that you understand.
And we open up with a 78 here on the Vinyl Treasure Show. The Performers, September 1956, featured it on the All-Star record label I'll Make You Understand. Features Freddie Johnson on lead. That is the first press that I featured. Sounds great on the 78, doesn't it? This is a new needle. I just noticed that I'm running out. I only have one clean 45 needle, so I got to talk to Dave the Rave. He gave me somebody's name for this for the needles. I got to buy a whole bunch because I have two turntables as backups, but I don't have many needles. But anyway, that one also for you collectors out there comes out on the Tip Top label, which I think you can also get that on a 78. I think Braden mentioned that he has it on a 78. But anyway, sounds really cool, doesn't it, on a 78? Now let's go back to the 45, as I just recently added this to the Johnny G collection. These gals are from Queens, New York. They are the daughters of William Henry Miller, who was a songwriter, producer, and label owner. I think he owned the Acme label, but also worked with B. Caslin, owner of Hull Records, did a lot of work with her, and his daughters had 4 releases on the Hull label. This is their first, of course, co-written by their father. Go to July 1956. Give a listen to the Miller Sisters. This one on the Hull label. It's called Do You Want to Go?
Ooh, 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 don't you know I'm going to a dance? Tell me if you want to go. I'm going to a dance. Tell me if you want to go. It'll really upset you from your head down to your toes. Well, do you want to go? We want to go. Well, do you want to go? We want to go. Ooh, do you want to go? We want to go. Well, do you want to go? We want to go. Well, do you want to go? We want to go. Well, go, 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 go. I won't be home tonight. Meet me down at the hall. I won't be home tonight. Meet me down at the hall. No use to come and knock, and I'll dig you down the road. Well, do you want to go? Yeah, yeah. Well, are you going to go? Yeah, yeah. Ooh, are you going to go? Yeah, yeah. Well, are you going to go? Yeah, yeah. Well, are you going to go? Yeah, yeah. Well, go, 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 go. The house will be rocking and the horns will really blow. The house will be rocking and the horns will really blow. You can hear those sounds from Maine to Buffalo. Well, do you want to blow? I want to blow. Well, do you want to blow? Yes, I want to blow. Ooh, do you want to blow? Yes, I want to blow. Well, do you want to blow? Yes, I want to blow. Well, do you want to blow? Yes, I want to blow. Well, blow, 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 blow,
That's on B. Caslin's Hull label. One of my missing Hull. I'm missing 1 or 2 more Hull 45s. I have the entire label, but I'm missing. That was a missing number for me. The Miller Sisters there, July 1956 on the Hull label, the black Hull label. It's called Do You Want to Go? Do you want to go to Johnny G's Vinyltreasure Show? You got to tune in for some cool 45s and 78's. Let's go back to the 78's. Actually, I had 3 requests that I did not have on 45, and they don't come on 45. Of course, some of them do, but this one does not. It's for the doo-wop couple Ron and Dorothy Feba. They sent me this a while back, but I just didn't want to play 178. I said, let me get a few together. And of course, if you do like the 78, send me an email at vinyltreasures@aol.com, because I got a lot of 78s. I can feature them here on the Vinyltreasure Show. But this one goes way back. the early roots of vocal group harmony here, but I like this song. Usually, the early sides, are kind of slow and mundane, but this one has some pretty nice harmony, and this is only on a 78, and the interesting thing about this is on the label it says with Renee Hall, with the Renee Hall Orchestra, and I always thought that he was out on the West Coast, but no, in the early 50s, he was here in New York. He was behind a lot of the groups here in New York before he went out to the West Coast. But anyway, this group is called the Magic Chords. The Magic Chords, by request for Ron and Dorothy. This one from 1950 on the Marlowe label. It's called If I Didn't Love You Like I Do.
I try to tell you from day to day what's in my heart, dear, but words could not say. Why feel this way about you if I didn't love you like I do? I go to bed now, round about it. Dream of your kisses and wake up again. Why feel this way about you if I didn't love you like I do? On the radio they are playing a little on the lonely side. That's how I feel without you. And you know that loneliness is hard to hide. I'll in my letter, there's nothing new. I miss you, darling, you know that I do. Why feel this way about you if I didn't love you like I do? On the radio they are playing a little on the lonely side. I don't know why, that's how I feel without you. And you know that loneliness is hard to hide. In my letter, there's nothing new. I miss you, darling, you know that I do. Why feel this way about you if I didn't love you like I do? If I didn't love you like I do.
They don't make records like that anymore. That's going way back to 1950. 1950, 8 years before Johnny G was around. That's going out to the doo-wop couple, the Magic Chords. The Magic Chords on the Marlowe record label, If I Didn't Love You Like I Do. I like that record, I do. It's not that easy to find. The 78's, somebody called me. Who called me? Was it Al that called me? He said, Johnny G, I got a bunch of 78's I need to sell. Usually, the 78's are about 10% of what a 45 would sell, but sometimes it's different because if you get a hit like Get a Job, for instance, the Get a Job on the Ember label, that may sell for a lot more than the 45 because there's probably a lot more of the 45 than the 78, of course, especially if it's a big hit. I remember when I was looking for 78's, these jukebox guys would come to me. He goes, I need hits. I need like My Prayer. I need Elvis Presley hits for my jukebox. And they would pay me premium prices for those records. But anyway, Johnny G babbling on as we continue here on the Vinyl Treasure Show. We go from a 45 to a 78. Got lots of flip sides. not lots, but some flip sides from last week's show. And here's our first, and it was requested by listener Andrew Turner, as last week I featured the Rocketeers on Al Silver's Herald label with their song called Foolish One. Andrew asked if I could play the flip side, which has a very interesting title. So we're going to send this one out to Andrew here from June of 1953. The Rocketeers on the Herald label. It's called Gonna Feed My Baby Poison.
I'm gonna feed my baby poison. I'm gonna feed my baby poison. I'm gonna feed my baby poison. I'm gonna feed my baby poison. Because she done me wrong. I won't have my baby long. Won't have my baby. I won't have my baby long. Won't have it long. My baby done me wrong. She done me wrong. I'm gonna feed my baby poison. A little poison. Because she done me wrong. You know my baby's changed. You know she's changed. You know my baby's changed. My baby's changed. My baby ain't the same. She's not the same. I'm gonna feed my baby poison. A little poison. Before I go insane. I went to a fortune teller. Yeah. She told me what to do. Yeah. She fixed me some herbs and vinegar to put into a stew. If you want to get rid of your baby, now this is what you do. When she come home early in the morning, just read her something. I done fed my baby poison. I done fed my baby poison. I done fed my baby poison. My baby's gone because she was no good.
That's by request for Andrew Turner there. Wanted to hear the B-side to the Rocketeers' Foolish One, June 1953 on Al Silver's Herald label. The Rocketeers with Gonna Feed My Baby Poison. What a terrible title for a song, but you know what? You can sing about anything, or at least back then you can sing about anything. Comes on red vinyl. Excuse me, those of you that also collect. I don't have it on red vinyl. I had a chance to buy it. Too expensive for that record, but I bought this one. Mike Demersion sold me that so many years ago, but I have it on the black vinyl. Johnny G here for a Saturday evening. We're spinning 45's and 78's. We're going back and forth here. Let's go back to the 78's and a request for Pat. Pat is in our YouTube chat room. He sent me a couple of requests. I'm going to play you those records tonight, Pat. But this is on the Atlantic label. It's the very first release for Ernie Warren and the Cardinals. They were out of Baltimore, Maryland, and this song was actually a pretty big R&B hit. It was number 7 on the Billboard R&B chart. This only only came out on a 78. You can't get this on a 45 unless you buy the Atlantic reissue series. Because I think in the 70s, Atlantic reissued a lot of the early sides with the pinwheel on it. That's how you can tell if it's a reissue or whatever you want to call it. But I like this song. It features Ernie Warren on lead. We're going to send this one out to Pat. I also want to send it out to Laura Wooten because I know she likes this tune. Here are the Cardinals from May 1951 on the Atlantic label on a 78. It's called Shouldn't I Know.
Shouldn't I know if you still love me, and shouldn't I care? Oh, it's my future to be. Shouldn't I know if things go wrong, and shouldn't I care if they're that way for long? I know.
Oh, the lonely
Nights that have a bright moonlight glow, I sit and I cry. Did you go? Oh, shouldn't you be here close to me? If not, tell me so. Shouldn't I know?
Thanks for requesting that one, Pat. That's a great tune. Haven't heard that in a long time. The Cardinals from Baltimore, Maryland. They're Ernie Warren on lead. That is their debut 78. That's their debut song on the Atlantic label. Featured it on the 78 there, May 1951. You can get that. If you don't have a 78 player, you can't get the original, but you can get it on the yellow Atlantic. You can check out eBay some places. They shouldn't go for a lot of money, but I saw some guys or some sellers selling them for lots of money because they don't know that it's a reissue from the 70s. Johnny G here for a Saturday evening. If you're digging on the 78, send me an email at vinyltreasures@aol.com. Also, if you're watching on YouTube, you should subscribe to my YouTube page. Go there and hit the bell to subscribe to get notifications when I'm on live. Spinning original vinyl 45s and 78s. Go back to the 45s here and back to another flip side from last week as requested requested by listener Daryl Letts in our YouTube chat room. I featured the Rhythm Aces and their third release on Vivian Carter's VJ label. It was called That's My Sugar. Daryl asked if I can give a spin to the flip side before this one goes back down in the no humidity basement, so we're going to do that. It was written or co-written by the lead singer. His name is Vince House, a.k.a. Vince Howards. This is going out to Daryl here. September 1955, the Rhythm Aces on VJ. They have kind of like a 40-ish, a late 40-ish sound, I guess. It's called Flippity Flop.
Goes the poor old heart every time you pass me by. Hippity hop, well, it just won't stop. Baby is the reason why. Flippity flop, hey baby, can't you tell you're the one for me? Flippity flop, well, I know I fell. Baby, you belong to me. You look so doggone fine and sweet.
Heaven sent you here to me. I'm just as crazy as a big baboon. Bibbidi bop, how you did that to me.
Flippity flop, I believe I fly way up in the sky. Flippity flop, well, I'm on my spree. Baby, won't you marry me?
Heaven sent you right here to me. I'm just as crazy as a big baboon. Bibbidi bop, how you did that to me.
Flippity flop, I believe I fly way up in the sky. Flippity flop, well, I'm on my spree. Baby, won't you marry me? Flippity flop, it's the crazy, crazy thing. I'm gonna have my thing. Flippity flop, heard the preacher say.
That's a swinging sound from September 1955 and Vivian Carter's VJ record label out of Chicago, Illinois, going out to Daryl. The Rhythm Aces with the flip side of That's My Sugar, song entitled Flippity Flop, as we continue here, flipping and flopping back and forth from 45 to 78, back to the 78's here. And this only comes out on a 78. There's no 45 on this next tune. It's on Herman Lubinsky's Regent label. Of course, the parent label is Savoy Records out of Newark, New Jersey. But this group is called the Falcons. There are a lot of groups called the Falcons, but see, this group is here from probably New Jersey. The female lead is Goldie Boots Alsop, but on the label she's known as Goldie Boots, and she's singing along with her brothers. They're backing her up. This is the first of two on the Regent label for them. This one from November 1951. Give a listen to the Falcons, featuring Goldie Boots on lead. It's on the Regent label. It's called How Blind Can You Be?
Look what you're doing, I'm all aglaze. You've got me walking in a beautiful haze. Gee, baby, how blind can you be? Blind can you be? You never see me when you go by. baby, how blind can you be? You are mighty graceful and neat. I long for the day when we will meet. I'll set you high on the throne and tell the gals you're mine alone. I've tried to show you how much I care, but all my scheming seems to get me nowhere. Gee, baby, how blind can you be? You are mighty graceful and neat. I long for the day when we will meet. I'll set you high on my throne and tell the gals you're mine alone. I've tried to show you how much I care, but all my scheming seems to get me nowhere. Gee, baby, how blind can you be? Gee, baby, how blind can you be?
Yeah, those are the Falcons. The Falcons there with Goldie Boots on lead, November 1951 on the Regent label, subsidiary of Savoy Records. How blind can you be? Well, you don't have to be that blind. You can go to the archive anytime you want. If you can go to YouTube, I archive the shows there after I finish the show. Sometimes it's pretty late. A lot of you guys and gals, you go to bed early, so you're not up till 1 a.m. I'm a night owl. Some of you guys are night owls. I know that, like Reed and some others, but others are not, like Warren. They go to bed a little earlier, but you can go to my YouTube page. You can watch the archives there. I got a ton of them. You can go to my, also, if you want to download or stream the show, go to vinyltreasures.net, because I got all the shows there. You can download the shows for that. Let's continue here, and back to the 45's now. This is a great request for a listener, Daniel Kubacki. He is in our YouTube chat room. I featured this 45 not too long ago, about sometime in June, early June I played this, but it's good to hear again. We're going to give it a spin here. We're going to send it out to Daniel. It's the group's debut single on High Weiss's Old Town record label. They are the Valentines. These are the Valentines by request for Daniel with Richard Barrett on lead. We go back to November 1954, the Valentines on Old Town. It's called Summer Love.
Last summer I met you and love was in the air. The pumpkin you went away, my heart was in despair. But soon next year spring will be here. I'll be searching, looking everywhere for my summer love. To stars that shine above, darling, please, please, don't ever say that this love will fade away. Oh, my summer love, soft as clouds that float above, darling, please, please, don't ever say that this love will fade away. please. Don't ever say that this love will fade away.
As by request for Daniel Kubacki there, November 1954, the debut single for the Valentines on High Weiss's Old Town record label, Summer Love is the name of that one. Interesting thing about this, that's the B-side of the record. Why would you release a summer song in November of 1954? That's what Ferdy Gonzalez has as the release date on that Old Town song there. And the flip side there is Tonight Kathleen. I think that was the side I think that they pushed on the radio. Johnny G here for a Saturday evening as we continue here. Back to the 78's we go. Now this next 78 does come out on a 45, and I'm looking for it on a 45. This one doesn't really turn up that often, but a lot of this this group's the recordings by this group are not easy to find by any means, but I couldn't resist the Powder Blue 78 DJ copy of this when somebody offered it to me. They're from Detroit, Michigan, this group. They're called the Serenaders. They recorded under different names also. I think the Musketeers on the Roxy label, the Royals on the Venus label. I was going to play that 78, but I have that on a 45 too. And they later, of course, recorded as the Royal Jokers. You know, those releases on the Atco label, also on the Fortune label. But prior to that, they were known as the Serenaders. Now, this was the first of two they did on the Coral label. I don't have either. I have just this one by them on Coral Records. It features Theron Hill on lead. This one from May 1952, the Serenaders on the Coral label on a 78. It's called It's Funny.
Well, it's funny how I loved you. It's the joke of the century. It's so funny now to everyone but you and me. They told us this would happen, and now my heart bleeds. It's so funny now to everyone but you and me. And now I cry, the one I love to say goodbye. My tears I cannot hide. She'll be gone a long time. Well, it's funny, my friends all laugh, and I am in misery. It's so funny now to everyone but you and me. And now I cry, the one I love is said goodbye. My tears I cannot hide. She'll be gone a long time. Well, it's funny, my friends all laugh, and I am in misery. see. It's so funny now to everyone but you and me.
May 1952 release there for the Serenaders. Serenaders on the Coral record label, the first of two on Coral with Theron Hill. He's on lead. And a song entitled It's Funny. They have other releases, the Serenaders, JVB, Red Robin, Deluxe, Swing Time. I think I'm missing the JVB one, which is not an easy record to find either, but I do have their others. Johnny G here for a Saturday evening. Hope you're digging on these tunes here. I am listening to these 78's. I hope you are. I hope they're sounding nice over the air there. But last week I played a request for the Colonel. He requested the Sequins on Bobby Robinson's Red Robin label. It's the very last release on the Red Robin label, and it was the intended A-side. It was called Don't Fall in Love. And listener Daryl Letts, he asked if I could flip the 45 over, give a listen to the B-side. So this is going out to Daryl. They are the Sequins. Robert Coleman, he's on lead. This one here, the winter of 1956, the Sequins on Red Robin. This is the up-tempo side. It's called Why Can't You Treat Me Right?
Do-loop, bom, do-do-do-do-loop. Bom doop dee doo bom doop dee bom doop dee bom doop.
Well, why do you treat me mean? You're the meanest thing I ever seen. Oh yes, I love you so.
B-sides here on the Vinyltreasure Show by request for Daryl Letts. Those are the Sequins. The Sequins, Robert Coleman on lead, the winter of 1956 on the Red Robin label. Why Can't You Treat Me Right? That's the name of the tune. And Robert Coleman, he would go on to lead the Emmines. The Emmines, I think, on the Josie label and also on the G label. Johnny G here for a Saturday evening. Let's continue now back to the 78's. We head to Philadelphia, PA for this next 78. It's on Herb Slotkin's Grand label. Now, I have the 78 and I have the 45. They are in similar condition, unfortunately. Maybe the 45 plays okay, I think, but it's a pretty rare 45. This also comes on red vinyl. I do not have it. Mine is the black vinyl on the 45. But this is a nice VG, I guess we can call it, maybe a little bit less. The group is from Francisville. That is in North Philly, I think, if I'm not mistaken, those of you that know the Philadelphia area. And according to the pressing plant sheet for Herb Slotkin on this record, somebody had some information, maybe it was Louis Silvani. He said that 3,000 copies were pressed up on 78 RPM and 500 pressed up on 45, and then 3 weeks later, 500 presses on the Yellow Grand label. I've never seen this on a Yellow Grand label. I don't know if that's right or not, but anyway, but he mentions it in his book, Collecting Rare Records. It's in that book. Now, he said, where did all the copies go? I don't know where they went. Because prior to having this, I think I had it on a Lost Night 45. I said, I'll pay $3 for the Lost Night. I'm never going to get the record. But luckily, one was offered to me, I think, on a 78 initially and then on a 45. But anyway, I'm featuring it on the 78. It features Fred Walker and Estelle. Is it Estelle Nelson? I might have typed that wrong, Charlene. Did I? Or Natson? I'm not sure. One of the two. But she gets the writer credit. You can go to my Facebook wall. Those of you on Facebook, you can actually look at the label. This one kind of is a little bit lighter. But anyway, it's from October 53, and they're called the Belltones. The Belltones on the Grand label, and the name of the tune is called Estelle.
Just a good line to let you know that I love you so. Why did you go?
That one there, a little rough on the 78, but it's hard to find this record, period. They're the Belltones. The Belltones, October 1953, featured it on Herb Slotkin's Grand label. I have it on the blue label. That's Freddie Walker and Estelle Natson. That's who they are. They both wrote that tune, the Belltones, song entitled Estelle. Johnny G playing 78's. Now we're going to go to the 45's, and we're going to go to a flip side from last week. I featured the Marquees. They are from Manhattan's Upper West Side originally, and their song Bohemian Daddy came out on Jerry Winston's Onyx record label. It featured June Bateman on lead, and she also co-wrote the flip side. It's with Sammy Lowe and the orchestra. This one from November 1956, the Marquees on the Onyx label, another one of the thousands of labels that Johnny G collects, and the song is called Hope He's True.
Ooh, ling a ling a ling a ling ling ling, ling a ling a ling a ling ling, ling a ling a ling a ling ling ling, ling a ling a ling a ling ling ling. Whoa, whoa, whoa.
Maybe I found boy of my dream. Hope he is true. He's such a fine thing. Love him so.
B-sides here on the Vinyltreasure Show. The Marquees there, June Bateman. She's up front on lead, November 1956 on the Onyx label. Jerry Winston's Onyx Records, Hope He's True, Sammy Lowe and the orchestra there for that. Now, Gary Myers, singer and author, he documents in his book on that Wisconsin beat that June would later marry saxman Noble Thin Man Watts, and he also played on her records and assisted her with a bunch of her releases later on. And if you go, those of you on Facebook, go to my Facebook page. I have pictures of both the 45's and the 78's. Gary made a comment there. The book is still available, and you can buy it from him directly. Gary Myers. He's also on Facebook. Gary Myers. If you go there, he'll sell you the book. He has two books of groups and singers and artists, all types of genre of music that were from the state of Wisconsin. It's really in depth from all the interviews. He said he interviewed June Bateman. And he said it was a great interview. That's just cool in itself. But check it out. I have those books. I use that information on a lot of my shows. Let's continue here and let's go back to the 78's. Now, how about a blues 78? I'm not really particularly a blues collector, but when I run labels, I do get a lot of blues 45's, and not really 78's, but this 78 was in a group of a rhythm and blues vocal group 78's, because I got it from Louis Silvani's a store assistant at the time, going way back before the 80s, I think into the 70s, Glenn Fousel. And Glenn is no longer with us. He passed away, unfortunately, a number of years ago. But I traded him some LPs, which included a Beatles versus the Four Seasons LP without a poster. I found that at a church sale for like 5 cents. I think I had a Tony Sheridan LP and a couple others, something new, and he wanted those, and they were mint. And I said, well, give me these, sell me or trade me these 578's. And they were all store stock. And I have in my collection for years. I feature these nice mint ones that you hear. They're basically from that store stock. But this record was in there. Didn't really think much of it. I don't even know if this is really a rare record, but it only comes out on a 78, I found out today. This is not on a 45. And a lot of blues collectors are looking for this. It's on the Sun label. And his name is Joe Hill Lewis. I have it backwards here. Joe Hill Lewis is his name. It's only on a 78. It's from January 1953. I think this is the B-side, though, because I like this side better. So let's give it a spin here. Joe Hill Lewis on a Sun 78. It's got a little X on the label, but it's called She May Be Yours, parentheses, but she comes to me sometimes. That's the name of the tune. Let's give it a whirl here. And it's nice and clean. I think there was one I think that sold on Pop Psych. What was it, for like $1,900 and something, but that was like a VG Plus. This is like mint, or close to mint. It's got an X on the label, so some guys are really finicky about it. But to find a record like that, it was just in with all these Federal and Deluxe and End and Gone and G and Savoy. It was just in there. So I figured I'd play it tonight. January 1953, Joe Hill Lewis on the Sun label, on a 78, only on a 78. She may be yours, parentheses, but she comes to see me sometime. That's the name of the tune. Johnny G here for a Saturday evening. Let's continue here. Back to the 45's and a request for listener Joe Shacatano. And have a nice mint copy of this somewhere in the No Humidity basement, but was able to find my VG copy that I found at a flea market for like 10 cents. It's on the Gem label out of New York City. Not much on this label, but some really good releases by groups like the Earls. That's a rare 45. I have played that here. The Four Bells, I have two. I have a King Curtis. I have a Joan Shaw. And I have something else. I don't recall what it is. But Joe requested the Five Embers from January 1955. The Five Embers on the Gem label. It's called Please Come Home in VG.
Please come on. I've been a fool. I never should have said the things I did. For love played its game, and I was caught in between. Come on, my old darling love. The friends we all know will all ask how are you, and all I can do is hang my head, hang my head, hang my head, and I, darling, since you've been gone, the whole wide world has seemed to be against me. I didn't know how much I could break your heart. No, darling, not until I saw the tears. The tears fell down your cheeks. Please, try to find a place in your heart to forgive a fool like me. What I said comes directly from the heart and not from the head. The friends we all know will all ask how are you, and all I can do is hang my head, hang my head, hang my head, and
As by request for Joe Shacatano, the Five Embers there, January 1955 release on the Gem label, Please Come Home. Didn't play that bad. I have that on a 78 also. You know, like a 10-cent purchase was too rough with the scratches. Sometimes the 78s are too far gone, although they do last a lot longer as long as they don't break. They'll crack by just being on a shelf and the temperature changes. If they get pushed around or moved around, that's why I said that's it. I will not pay more than $500 for a 78 because it's too much money, I think, to invest in a piece of shellac unless they're flexi. I have a flexi coming up. You want to get these on flexi. That'd be the great. Anyway, Johnny G babbling on, but let's go back to the 78s, and this one does come on a 45, which I do have on a 45, but the 78 plays oh so much better. And last week I played the Four Fellows on the Glory label. Actually, on the last two shows I played both sides of their 7th release. I think Joe Shacatano requested You Don't Know Me, and then I played the flip last week. Your Sweet Girl was a great up-tempo. But here is their debut single, their first record that was on Larry Newton's Derby label. And this features Jimmy McGowan on lead. This one from August 54. The Four Fellows on the Derby label plays so much better on the 78. It's called Bend in the River.
Boom, 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 do, 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 ah. Boom, 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 do, 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 do,
Bend in the river where rushes are growing and waters are flowing far down to the sea on a cool balmy June night through the shimmering moonlight. I know that my own true love is waiting for me in the cool of the evening when shadows are falling. I can hear my love calling so softly to me through the sand in the heather. In fair summer weather, we'll drift down together, my true love and me.
Those are the Four Fellows, their debut song. I was going to say 45. I could say single. The Four Fellows there, Jimmy McGowan on lead, August 1954. It's on the Derby label. Bend in the River. They were out of Brooklyn, New York. Johnny G here spinning 78s and 45s. Let's go back to the 45s. Let's go back to the requests, as this is for the doo-wop couple who are big fans of the Youngsters, that group out of California. And they requested a song called I'm Sorry Now, which I always thought that the Shields did first, but they did not do that first. It was done by the Youngsters, and believe it or not, it was first issued on the HEG label, the Heg label, by them featuring him, who were really the Youngsters. Then in May of 1956, no, that was May of 1956. Then in June of 56, George Mottola released it on the Empire label as a B-side, again by the Youngsters, but he called them the Tempters. who again were, as I mentioned, were the Youngsters. Then it was released a final time in December of 1956, but really as an alternate flip to Empire 109, which was, I think, Dreamy Eyes and Christmas in Jail. Then they put this on the flip, but it's a request for the doo-wop couple, and it features Donald Miller on lead, but they do the original, the Youngsters, December 56 release on Empire, their tune called I'm Sorry Now.
I'm sorry now for breaking my vow. If you only forgive and forget, I'll make it up somehow. I need you so much more than you know. Won't you please give me one more chance, and I'll never let you go. I'm sorry if I made you cry over me. I'm sorry if I broke your heart. I know it was wrong, and now I can see that I was to blame from the start. I promise you, from now on I'll be true. Darling, say you still want me, and then you'll never be sorry again. Broke your heart. That I was to blame from the start. I promise you, from now on I'll be true. Darling, say you still want me, and then you'll never be sorry again.
As by request for the doo-wop couple Ron and Dorothy, the Youngsters. The Youngsters on the Empire label, Donald Miller on lead, December 56 release. That's like the third time out for that song, I'm Sorry Now. Let's go back to the 78's now. This is a request for listener George Tompkins. He's in our YouTube chat room. This one does come on a 45, but I don't have it. I only have it on a 78, and I'm still looking for this on a 45, but it's not a cheap record. It's an expensive record on 45, but I do have a great sounding Flexi 78. It's a DJ copy on the Imperial record label, and they're the best, because if you ever drop this, it will not break, not like a 78 will. You can drop a 78 on your carpet in your living room and it'll break. Unfortunately, it will. But I think I can get away with this 78 with the Flexi disc. But George requested the group's second on Imperial and their hardest, and a member of this group you may know, Billy Bland of Let the Little Girl Dance fame. Well, he was a member of this group. I don't know if he's doing lead on this. Maybe he is, I'm not sure, but it's a cover of a Savannah Churchill tune. So this is by request going out to George Tompkins, November 1954. These are the Bees on the Imperial label, and their rendition of the tune, I Want to Be Loved.
I want to be loved, but only by you. I shouldn't be so crazy about you. But what can I do?
What can I do?
Just feeling, magnifying my dreams are magnifying, but darling, they don't come true. Oh, can't you love me a little bit longer? 'Cause I want to be loved, but by only you.
Only by you.
I want to be loved,
I want to be loved,
but by only you.
but only by you.
I shouldn't be crazy.
I shouldn't be crazy.
What can I do?
But what can I do?
Just feeling, magnifying my dreams are magnifying, but darling, they don't come true. Oh, can't you love me a little bit longer? 'Cause I want to be loved, but by only by you.
Only by
You.
Send that one out to George Tompkins there. Great tune there by the Bees. The Bees, November 1954, I Want to Be Loved, the Savannah Churchill tune. That one there on the Imperial label. Featured it on a Flexi DJ 78. I have a lot on the RCA label there. A lot of their promos were Flexi. I have others. I think Groove, Groove is subsidiary. They were also that way. I don't know about the Savoys. They called it. They had a weird name. They called it, but they're not Flexi. Anyway, Johnny G babbling on here. Let's continue. I will have one more 78 to go. Got to make sure I change my needle and change the tone arm weight, or I'm gonna mess up my styrene 45s. But anyway, back to the 45s we go with a request for Joe Shacatano on Zeke Manor's Loma label out of Beverly Hills, California. The group is an offshoot of the Flares. They were called the Ermines, and Joe requested the second of 4 on the Loma label. It features Cornell Gunter on lead. From January 1956, give a listen to Cornell Gunter and the Ermines on the Loma label. It's called Pretty Baby, parentheses, I'm So Used to You Now, for Joe.
I'm in love, so in love. Heaven sent you from above, pretty baby. I'm so used to you now. I can't eat, I can't sleep till you're mine, mine complete, pretty baby. I'm so used to you now. Used to you now. It would be so thrilling if you say you'll be mine. Baby, just you be willing to let me have and hold you all of the time. a thrill to your touch. Love you, much too much, pretty baby. I'm so used to you now. Used to you now. It would be so thrilling. Oh, if you say you'll be mine. Come on now, baby, just you be willing. And let me have and hold you all of the time. Such a thrill to your touch. Love you, much too much, pretty baby. I'm so used to you now, pretty baby. I'm so used to you now, used to you now.
January 1956 release there for Cornell, Gunter, and the Ermines by request for Joe Shacatano on the Loma record label. Pretty Baby, I'm So Used to You Now. That is a cool tune. I like that record. I like both sides of that 45. Bought this one out of the collection of Seymour Simon many, many years ago. Like maybe 30 years ago, possibly, but he sold me the three I was missing out of his collection. Seymour Simon was selling out his collection a long, long time ago. Got some of his good records, not his best records, but lots of good records. Anyway, let's continue here. We're up to the last 78 for the night, and it's a request for the Colonel as we go back to High Weiss's Old Town record label. Both sides are good on this 45 of 78, I should say, but the Colonel requested the B side of the 45 from August 1957. These are the Ketones. The Ketones on the Old Town label. It's called A Fool in Love.
There is always a fool in love. What's the matter, baby? What's the matter, dog? Have you found another? What you thinking of? Have you ever seen a fool? A fool in love. Don't you start a crying. Don't shed a tear. You don't have to worry. I won't leave you, dear. Have you ever seen a fool? A fool in love. Well, baby, someday I'll change my ways and you'll have me once again. Because now, baby, I'm praying now that you come back and have me back again. Don't you start a crying. Don't shed a tear. You don't have to worry. I won't leave you, dear. Have you ever seen a fool? A fool in
As by request for the Colonel there, the Ketones. The Ketones from August 1957, High Weiss's Old Town record label. It's called A Fool in Love. Now, for you collectors out there, the true first press of this should have a flip side. The A side should be Wonder of the World. And if it says 7 Wonders of the World, you do have probably a second press of that, which came out maybe a few weeks later. They changed it, but this one here, I'll show you the flip. It's the later press, but I do have a whipped copy of the first press and I think a decent copy of the other one, but I played the 78. That does it for the 78, so all 45s from now on. Gonna have to change my settings on the turntable, not forget about that. But let's continue here, and got some. Let me know how you like the 78. Send me an email at vinyltreasures@aol.com if you want me to continue with the 78s, because they do have some early sides. I know some people don't really dig on the early sides, but they are. It's not like I play them constantly, but they're nice to hear, and for me, they were nice to have, especially if I could afford them. Anyway, but let's do all 45s now, and the next 2 records that I'm playing are flip sides from last week, and one I featured was by Curly Williams and a group on the Modern label, and their rendition of the Turks, or his rendition of the Turks tune, This Heart of Mine. Now let's give a spin to the flip side here, because I like the flip side too, and we're going to give a listen here before we file it back down in the No Humidity basement. October 1956, Curly Williams here on the Modern label and a group. It's called Be Mine on Styrene.
You'll never know a love such as mine. Oh, dearest, dearest, oh, darling, be mine. Oh, just one touch of your hand makes me understand. Oh, dearest, dearest, oh, darling, be mine. We'll love one another, our love's yours we'll share. Never ever forsake me. Where you go, please take me for a ride. Never known a love such as ours. Oh, dearest, dearest, oh, darling, be mine. We'll love one another. Our love's yours we'll share. Never ever forsake me. Where you go, please take me for a ride. Never known a love such as ours. Oh, dearest, dearest, oh, darling, be mine. Oh, darling, oh, won't you please be mine?
That's a great two-sided 45. That's a styrene one. I got to save that for Brian's all-styrene show. Plays pretty nice. I have to say that I don't like those modern styrenes. I don't like them. But anyway, that's October 1956. Curly Williams and a group on the Modern label. What a great tune, song entitled Be Mine. Johnny G here spinning all 45s now for the remainder of the show. And last week, I opened up the show with the Ladders on Danny Robinson's Holiday label. And it was Nat Papagallo. He requested Counting the Stars by the Ladders, a group out of Harlem, New York. That was listener Daryl Letts that asked if I could play the flip side before it goes back down in the no humidity basement. So we're going to send this one out to Daryl from December of 1957. The Ladders on the Holiday label with their tune called I Want to Know. That didn't sound good. This Dead Wax has a very... As by request for Daryl Letts, another great two-sided 45 on the Holiday label. Lots of great records. You want to collect a record label, Holiday Records is a label to collect, that's for sure. The Ladders, December 1950. They're not all easy to find, though. The Ladders there, December 1957, the flip side of Counting the Stars. It's called I Want to Know. Now, both sides of that record were written by Les Cooper. Les Cooper had a big hit in 1962 on the Everlast label, an instrumental called Wiggle Wobble. That was his record. Let's continue here on the Vinyltreasure Show. And here's a request from my number one California listener, Mady Campboy, as this girl group backed up Richard Berry on some of his flip releases, and not to mention other artists, but two members of this group, Fanita James and Gloria Jones, would go on to join Darlene Love and record as the Blossoms. But prior to that, those two gals were members of this group called the Dreamers, who were discovered by Richard Berry. And it's another great two-sided 45 here, but a request for Mady. It features Janelle Hawkins on lead. This record charted number 15 on WEBB in Baltimore, Maryland. So this is going out to Matey from February 57. The Dreamers on the Flip label. It's called Since You've Been Gone.
Since you've been gone, I miss you so. Please come back and ease this heart of mine. These empty arms, empty arms, to hold you oh so tight. Darling, you know that I miss you so. I remember the night I first met you. Oh, what a night divine. I looked into your eyes, and then I knew that you would always be mine. Since you've been gone, I miss you so. Please come back and ease this heart of mine.
As by request from Matey Campboy there, great tune, The Dreamers. The Dreamers from February 1957. It's on the Flip record label. Janelle Hawkins on lead for that one. Since You've Been Gone is the name of that one. Johnny G not going yet. No, we're not, even though I'm usually here till midnight, but I've been staying for 3 hours lately with all the requests I've been getting. So if you have a request, I'm going to have to cut down a little bit on the request, but still send them to me. You can send them to me at vinyltreasures@aol.com. Let's continue here, and let's continue with more requests. This one's for Pat, this group from Brooklyn, New York, and one of the many groups to record and be connected with bandleader Al Brown. And in 1957, they had their debut on Al's Peak label. It was called Missing You, a record that I do like. But then Brown teamed up with Florence Greenberg at her Scepter label, and the group recorded as Eddie and the Starlights. And this one features Eddie Justice on lead from December 1958 by request for Pat, Eddie and the Starlights. It's called To Make a Long Story Short.
To make a long story short, I love you. To make a long story short, I need you. And I knew right from
Jazz by Request for Pat, December 1958. Eddie and the Starlights came out on Florence Greenberg's Scepter record label. To make a long story short, the first time I heard that was on Norman Knight's Night Train show was the first time I heard that, 45. And for you collectors out there, if you have it on the red Scepter label, that is the second press. That's got to be like on the white with the blue lettering Scepter. That is the first press of that. That record played. Alan Fredericks played that record. Slim Rose played that record. They were selling that record in Times Square Records on the red label. Johnny G here for Saturday evening. We continue with the requests. And here's a request for Katie B. Katie B of Vintage and Vinyl, who she is in our YouTube chat room. And she requested this group out of Hollywood, California. Also, Katie has a YouTube page, Vintage and Vinyl. Check it out. She's a collector of lots of cool things. I saw her show on, it was Christmas ornaments. It was pretty cool to find out about I didn't even know they got bootlegs of Christmas ornaments from the 50s. I didn't even know that. But she is in our YouTube chat, and we welcome her. She's been a constant listener now since she's found out about Johnny G's Vinyl Treasure Show, and a budding record collector. You got to be careful there, Katie, for the bootlegs that are out there. And if you have any questions, send me an email about originality, because you don't want to get taken by that, even for any amount of money. But anyway, she made a request for this group out of Hollywood, California. They recorded 2 on the Brunswick label, and Katie requested their first, written by the lead singer of the group. His name is Robert Draper Jr. And this one actually charted nationally. This was number 62 on Cashbox, 51 on Billboard, a big number 16 on the Billboard R&B chart, requested by Katie B. And this one from October 58. They're called The Accents. The Accents on the Brunswick label, and a novelty tune. We're going to send this one out to Brian too. Does he have this record? It's called Wiggle Wiggle.
Wop wop do 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 wop wop do 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 wop wop do 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 wop wop do 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 wop wop do 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 wop wop do 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 wop wop do 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 wop wop do 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 wop wop do 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 wop wop do 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 wop wop do do wop wop do. You don't have to be pretty, you don't have to wear fine clothes. All you gotta do is just walk along and wiggle where it shows the most. Some girls are born with beauty, and others have fine clothes. But they think about their beauty and they forget to go to wiggle where it shows the most. Do 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 wop wop do 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 wop wop do 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 wop wop do 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 wop wop do do. Some folks believe in beauty, fine clothes and everything. You can put a wiggle in a shimmy sack and they really make the people scream. Now listen to me, little girl, you as cute as you can be. But forget all about your beauty, girl, and just wiggle, wiggle, wiggle for me. Do 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 wop wop do 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 wop wop do 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 wop wop do 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 wop wop do do. Do 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 wop wop do 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 wop wop do 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 wop wop do 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 wop wop do 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 wop wop do 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 wop wop do 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 wop wop do do wop wop do 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 wop wop do do wop wop do.
Those are the Accents. The Accents from October 1958 by request for Katie B. Their tune called Wiggle Wiggle, have it on the Brunswick record label. They would go on to have, I think, one more release on the Choral label, I think in 59. But that's a record that they do play on Sirius XM during their, I guess you call it their 50s on 5 daily rotation, although I haven't been in the car for a while since March. I'm telling you, with that tropical storm that came through, I lost power at 1:30 in the afternoon on Tuesday. Came back around, it was about almost 8 o'clock that it came back, and my TV and internet did come back, but then it went out. It was almost 10 p.m. and it went out, and I didn't have it until last night. So I was not going to do the show tonight if I didn't have that cable. I was really upset. Couldn't get anywhere on the phone, and I'm really contemplating switching from Optimum. I'm not happy with how they handled the communication. Really pretty bad, but hopefully that we were lucky we didn't have to throw out any food or anything. But I know other people, Dave the Rave, he was out since Tuesday. I think he got it back yesterday morning at 5:30, but a lot of people are still out here in New York. But anyway, enough of my babbling here. Let's continue and go back to Brooklyn, New York for another request for Matey Campboy. This group consisted of Carl Baldwin, Tyrone Benjamin, Orville Harrison, Eel Lindsay, and Thomas Mackey. Collectively, they were called the Adelphis. Now, Matey requested their second release on Bob McGee's Rim label. It's with Tico Wilshire and the orchestra. So by request for Matey Campboy, December 58 release, the Adelphis on the Rim label. It's called, in parentheses, The Sun Will Shine Again, as it did.
Hello, young lovers, do not despair. Your love will bloom again, someday, somewhere. The sun will shine again, and our love will never end. Won't you please come back again, for I love you so. Oh, yes, as far as we could see, our love was meant to be. Darling, please believe in me, and our love will grow. Darling, my precious rose, when will I hold you so very close? I need you, love. I want you near me. Won't you hear my plea? The sun will shine again, and our love will never end. Won't you please come back again, 'cause I love you so. Say hello to Mom, darling.
I like that tune. By request from Matey Campboy, the Adelphis, December 1958. It came out on the Rim record label out of New York City. For you collectors out there, the true original of that needs to have, in parentheses, the sun will, close parentheses, shine again. If it just says shine again, you have the second press. It's this pressed a little later. It's not something that was pressed years later. Johnny G here for a Saturday evening. Hope you're digging on the cool tunes. Send me an email at vinyltreasures@aol.com. Send me some requests. Let me know if you like the show, what you like about it. But I love to hear from you, the listeners, those of you also tuning in on Top Shelf Oldies and also on the YouTube live stream. Let's continue here. And on last week's Vinyl Treasure Show, I played a request for the Colonel. He requested Don Julian and the Meadowlarks, the first of two on Art Laboe's original sound label. It was called Please, parentheses, Say You Love Me. And the Colonel also requested I play the flip. So we're going to send this one out to the Colonel from December 1958. You flip that 45 over on original sound by Don Julian and the Meadowlarks, and you get this tune. It's called Doin' the Cha-Cha-Cha. B-sides here on the Vinyl Treasure Show, going out to the Colonel. Don Julian and the Meadowlarks, December 1958 release on Art Laboe's original sound record label. It's called Doin' the Cha-Cha-Cha. Johnny G doing the Cha-Cha-Cha here in my chair listening to these cool 45s. Let's continue here. Now, I know listener Nat Papagallo digs this next 45 on the Pet label, which was formed by a pair of Dons, believe it or not, Don Carter and Don Roby. Don Carter was a VP of George Gollner's Gone label, in addition to Morris Levy's sales manager for the Roulette label. Boy, involved there. And Don Roby, of course, was owner of the Duke Peacock record label in Houston, Texas, and they were looking for talented vocal groups up here in New York City. So let's give this one a spin here for Nat. It's with Buddy Lucas and the orchestra from April 1958. They're called the Gay Knights. The Gay Knights on the Pet label. It's called Angel.
Well, please say you'll be mine forever, yes and ever. Oh, darling, till the end of time. Each night I count the stars in the sky. I hope that you are in thrilling delight. God bless you, my dear, because I love you so. Do you have left me for someone else? Though you're the only girl I know that ever cared. Don't ever leave me. Don't ever go, my darling, because I love you so. Well, please, forever, yes and ever. Whoa, whoa, yes. Please say you'll be mine. Please be mine.
As by request for Nat Papagallo there, those are the gay nights from April 1958 on the Pet label. It's called Angel. There was a verse in there that sounded like another song. I should put it back on. And I was singing this other song. I heard the verse in there, as a lot of writers did. They stole from other songs. Call the Lawyers on that one. And that's the one that plays the best, the Monarch Press, for some reason. I have 4 copies of that. I have a pink promo and 3 stocks, 2 East Coast, and this one, a West Coast, that probably played the best. Johnny G needs his head examined. As we continue here on the Vinyl Treasure Show, we are in Vinyl Treasure Overtime in 1 more minute. And here is another request for my California listener, Matey Campboy. And I love this tune here. I remember it's not cheap by any means. When I didn't know anything about this record, when the guy offered it to me, when Spence offered it to me, I said, I don't know this record. Let me hear it. And I said, holy mackerel, I'll take it no matter what the price. And it wasn't cheap, I can tell you that much. But I love this tune. And I guess Matey does too, because she requested this one. And the group is out of New York City, and they sound familiar. This lead singer sounds like someone else. But it's on the Juno label, Juno Records. And this one by request for Matey, 1958, The Romans. The Romans on Juno. It's called You Are My Only Love.
Do, 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 do,
You are my only love. You were sent down from up above. I love you with all my heart, and
Love that tune there. Thank you for requesting that one, matey. Camp Boy. Those are the Romans. The Romans from 1958. It's on the Juno label, Juno. And it's called You Are My Only Love. Let's continue now. Here's another request for listener Joe Shacatano, as this record came out 3 different ways. First came out, the first press is on the MRB label, and that's the one that I'll be spinning. Also came out on Port Records. Then one more release on the 20th Century label. The song written by Johnny Malone. This song first recorded by Tommy Edwards in July of 1958. You may know, what's her name? Kathy Jean and the Roommates had a big hit with this record, but Joe requested this version by a group called the Sedates. These are the Sedates. I'm featuring it on the original label, MRB, from August 58. Their rendition of the tune, Please Love Me Forever.
Don't forget me ever. Listen to my plea. Please don't stop loving me.
That's by request for Joe Shacatano there. Those are the Sedates from August 1958 on the MRB record label. Their rendition of the tune, Please Love Me Forever. I was going to type into the YouTube chat that Reed is asking me if this group is from Glen Cove. I don't know if they could have been the Suburbans, because the Suburbans did Alphabet of Love on... Yes, this would make sense that this group could have turned into, because this is before that Suburbans record, which I think is 59 if I'm not mistaken. I don't know, I got to go back and check, but I don't know, Charlene didn't find any information on this group, so I don't know, maybe we need to check those two, and possibility, yes, that it is. You got to be a detective on some of these things. We got to be thankful that we do have the internet. The internet can be very bad, and the internet can be very good, because you can tune in and watch Johnny G's play these 45s. But let's continue here, and let's go back to a matey Camp Boy request. She requested this group from Kansas City, Missouri. Now, you know their signature song and their biggest hit. It was called Blueberry Sweet. And, of course, they had another record on Angletone called Dolly. Both came out on the Angletone label. And then that was it for the group. They broke up. But what Relic Records did, they were putting together compilation LPs of major R&B labels that had lots of group harmony on them, like the Best Of series. And I bought a few of them, and one of them I bought was the Best Of Atlas Angletone records, as they were able to get their hands on lots of unreleased material from that was left behind by these label owners. They got into their closets and whatnot and was able to put a lot of that stuff out unreleased. And somebody, this song was first on that album, and then somebody in 1973 released it as a 45, and I bought it when it came out in 1973, probably recorded in 1958, but it's a request for Métis. She requested this one. These are the Chandeliers. The Chandeliers, previously unreleased, probably recorded sometime in 58. It features William Watson on lead. So this is going out to Métis. The Chandeliers on the Angletone label. It's called Tender Love.
Is so reviving. It's a great, great honor to know that you are really mine. Come to me, darling, with your tender, tender love.
Your tender love, baby, it's so sweet, it's so refined.
I know right there that you were my only, mine only angel.
Baby, it's so sweet, it's so refining. I keep desiring. I need your tender love. Your tender love.
Boom, 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 boom.
As by request for Métis, those are the Chandeliers. That was unreleased, recorded probably in 1958, but it was unreleased till 1973, actually also on that Relic album, The Best of Atlas Angletone, and also they came out as a 73 issue, maybe, for a couple bucks I purchased it. Tender Love on the Angletone label by the Chandeliers. We continue here in Vinyl Treasure Overtime. Here is a request for George Tompkins, this group from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, first recording on the NAR label back in 1957, backing up a singer by the name of Lynn Christie. Then in 1958, with a few personnel changes, they signed with Jack Green's Yaden label, and they put this one out. It features Sam Connors on lead. This is going out to George Tompkins from October 1958. They're called the Deckers. The Deckers on the Yaden label. It's called Sincerely with All My Heart.
Ever since the day we met, your embrace I can't forget. Darling, I love you sincerely with all my heart. The plans, dear, we once made have suddenly faded away. Darling, I am lonely, girl, want you only. With all my heart.
Although there'll come a time, yes, one day you'll be mine.
Though I know you're so far away.
Yes, and when you're in my arms, I'm free for all your charms. I love you. There seems no way.
I'll pray, dear, for your return, and in my dreams, my heart for you yearns. Darling, I love you, yes, so sincerely, with all my
October 1958 release there for the Deckers. The Deckers with Sam Connors on lead. That's on the Yaden record label. A song entitled Sincerely with All My Heart. Now, you collectors out there, first presses of this need to have 101A and 101B on the front and the back of this. If you don't, if you have some like oddball number like 1041 or something, that's the second press. That's the second press that's a little bit cheaper than that one. But anyway, but that one, I have a mint condition of the other one, but that one's just okay condition. Johnny G here in Vinyl Treasure Overtime. Let's continue here now. On last week's show, I featured the A-side of this 45 on Eddie Bond's Stomper Time label, but the group and label are out of Memphis, Tennessee, and the song was called Tell It To Me Baby, the up-tempo side. Now, it was listener Daryl Letts. He asked me to play the B-side of the 45, which I say is the better side, in my opinion, and this tune written by the lead singer of this group, his name is Donald Bryant. So going out to Daryl Letts from September 59, we move into 59, it's by Willie Mitchell and the Four Kings. Willie Mitchell is the band leader. The Four Kings, that is the group, and Donald Bryant, he's the lead. It's on Stomper Time Records. It's called Walking at Your Will.
When
are talking, my heart stands still when you are walking. You are walking at your will, but the dim from eyes, darling, it made me realize when you are walking, you are walking at your will. Walking at your will.
Darling, I remember, yes, sweetheart, the day we met in the park, when you told me, yes, sweetheart, that there was something that you had for me deep down in your heart.
But the dim from eyes, darling, it made me realize when you are walking, you are walking at your will. Walking at your will.
As by request for Tarolettes, that is the side. I just needed an up-tempo side last week that was okay, but that is the better side for sure. That is, Willie Mitchell with the Four Kings. Willie Mitchell, he's the band leader. The Four Kings, that's the group. September 1959, that's on the Stomper Time record label. Walking at Your Will, that is the name of the tune, and it's the first of two on the label. The second one I don't have. It's a rarer 45 for sure, but Donald Bryan, he would go on to a successful solo career with the 9 releases on the High label, High Records, between 1965 and 1969. We are in Vinyl Treasure overtime here. Let's continue here with another request for Joe Shacatano. This 45, it's out of Elizabeth, New Jersey, came out on the C&M label, that label owned by Castino Queen and Mary Linkowich. And Joe requested John Lester and the Mellow Queens, and they're doing a cover tune recorded by so many groups and artists through the years. Lots of people, of course, know the version by Etta James, but it was first done back in 1942 by the Glenn Miller Orchestra. But let's give a listen to this version requested by Joe from April 1959. It's on C&M Records, John Lester and the Mellow Queens, and their version of the tune, At Last.
At last, my love has come along. At last, my lonely days are over, and life is like a song. Life is like a song. Life is like a song. At last, the skies are clover blue. Skies are blue. My heart was wrapped in clover. The night I looked at you. I found a dream that I can cling to, a dream that I can called my own. I found a dream to press my cheeks to. Oh, love, I never known why you smile.
You smile,
and then the spell was cast. And here we are in heaven, and you my Alice.
You smile,
and then the spell was cast. And here we are in heaven, and you
Excuse me, I thought I had my mic off with this cough. Anyway, that is a cover tunes here on the Vinyltreasure Show. I apologize for that, folks. That's not good. April 1959, by request for Joe Shacatano, John Lester and the Mellow Queens. I don't think it says "and the." I think it just says John Lester and Mellow Queens. I think that's what it says, if I can look on it. And that one there, a song entitled At Last, came out on the C&M record label. I remember distinctly where I bought that record. I bought it in Orangeburg, New York at the 303 Drive-In. There was a drive-in over in Rockland County. They used to have a flea market every Sunday morning, and I used to go there with my Aunt Mary. And this is way back. I was in high school, and I was learning how to drive, and I would drive there, and there were all these rocks, and you pull your car up. At the time, the rocks would kind of go up kind of like on a hill, and there was like a sewage plant that was not too far, and if the wind blew, it was horrible. And there were rows and rows of people. There were people that came from the Bronx, and they'd bring up these records. Of course, they were there really early, so they got all the first pickings. So they left this one. It's got center damage, but it plays nice for 10 cents. What do you want? As a budding collector back then, it was a lot of fun looking for records, but then later on it got expensive. Anyway, Johnny G babbling on here, and here's a request for Bopper Boy Warren, who had to leave. Warren goes to sleep early, so hopefully, Reed, you're going to have to tell him to tune in to the archive here, because this record actually is usually, since I had a lot of the 78's, I got to this one pretty late, but he requested this group here. It's kind of like a gospel tune here. Last week, I played a record by the Lollipops that he liked, had a gospel flavor. This one sounds similar to that, and it's on Leonard Chess's Argo label. It was written by Cleveland Savage, who might be, I think that's the real name for the lead singer on this, although this group is Duke Savage and the Arabians. It's spelled Arribins. How do you pronounce that? Arabians? Arribins. Anyway, it's a request for Warren from September 59. Duke Savage and the Arabians on the Argo label. It's called Hey Baby.
I love you so. Let's go out, honey, and do the town. Then we'll hug, kiss, dance, and dine. You said the food was good, champagne was mine. Oh, but nothing talk last night, and everything was right. You know I asked you for a kiss, and you turned me down. Oh, but I'll be around till you change your mind. I love you so.
By request for Bopper Boy Warren, those are Duke Savage and the Arabians. Maybe read Arribins. Maybe they messed up. That should have been the Arabians. But that one there, September 1959. It's on the Argo label, a song entitled "Hey Baby." Let's continue here in Vinyl Treasure Overtime. Here's another request for Nat Papagallo. He's listening down in Florida, and he requested this group out of Cincinnati, Ohio. Now, two of its members, Winfred Gerald and lead singer Lonnie Carter, were previously members of Otis Williams and the Charms, but then they left the group to form this group called the Eskos, and this is their release on Eve Dodd's Esta label. It's out of Hamilton, Ohio, and this is by request for Nat from January 1959, the Eskos on Esta. It's called "I'm Lonesome for You."
I miss you, darling, more than you know. My arms are empty, and I need you so. Why did you leave me? What did I do? My heart is breaking. I'm lonesome for you. I tried so hard to make you love me too, but now I know you found somebody new. Oh, you are happy with someone new. Try to remember, I'm lonesome for you. I've tried so hard to make you love me too, but now try to remember. I'm lonesome, lonesome for you. I'm lonesome for you.
As January 59 release there for the Eskos on the Esta label. Lots of E's there. Lonesome for You is the name of that one. Featured Lonnie Carter on lead for that. This is the same group that recorded for the Federal label. They really got some nice sides on Federal Records. I think they have 4 releases on Federal. Johnny G's here in Vinyltreasure Overtime. We'll see how many we can fit in by the 1 a.m. here on the East Coast, but it's only 12:34 now. Let's continue here. Here's another request for the doo-wop couple, Ron and Dorothy. They requested the Flamingos. The Flamingos on George Goldner's End record label. This is their 12th of 19 releases on the End label, and this was tune written by Doc Pomus and Mort Schumann. Now, this charted number 52 on the Billboard Hot 100 at its highest peak. Number 42 on Cashbox. Was a big number 2 record on WEEP out of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. And the lead singer on this, thank goodness it's not Terry Johnson, because he gives me copyright strikes if I play his records, but Tommy Hunt does, and he is I don't know, Tommy Hunt is, maybe he's still around, I don't know, but anyway, Tommy Hunt, he was a member of this Flamingos group later on, and he's doing lead here from November 1960 for the doo-wop couple, the Flamingos on End. It's called Your Other Love on Styrene.
Your other love may be handsome, and when he smiles, he's got a twinkle in his eye. Your other love may be bolder, and when he holds you in his arms, you wanna die. He says he loved you from the very start, but your other love is gonna someday break your heart. Your other love says it needs you just like a flower needs the burning summer sun. Your other love says he wants you. Oh, how he swears to you that you're the only one. He claims his future just depends on you. But your other love is gonna someday prove untrue. He's just telling lies, got you hypnotized. Soon you realize your other love is unfaithful. When you're not there, another girl is in his arms. Your other love is a lover, and he'll make love to any girl who dig his charms. My love is true love, not for just a day, but your other love is gonna someday fly away. Your other love is unfaithful. When you're not there, another girl is in his arms. Your other love is a lover, and he'll make love to any girl who dig his charms. My love is true love, not for just a day, but your other love is gonna someday fly away. But your other love is gonna someday fly away.
As by request for the doo-wop couple, Ron and Dorothy, the Drifters, no, the Flamingos, really the Flamingos, but sounding very drifter-ish. if that's even a word. November 1960, it's on the End label, George Gollner's End Records there. Your Other Love. Tommy Hunt, he's on lead for that one on a styrene 45. Johnny G here doing Vinyl Treasure Overtime. Let's continue here. And how about another request for Nat, this group from Allentown, Pennsylvania. They're called the Sinceres, not to be confused with the group on the Ritchie label. There's another group on the Sigma label. I think that Sigma group might be from Connecticut, if I'm not mistaken. But this group is from Allentown, Pennsylvania, and this was their only release on Dave Riff's Jordan label out of New York City. And the group consisted of Jay Proctor, George Lucky Lloyd, Billy Floyd, Emmett Lord, and Joe Ransom. And this tune written by Billy Floyd, and this is a request for Nat from February 1960. The Sinceres on the Jordan label. It's called You're Too Young.
You're too young to fall in love. You're too young to fall in love. Birds up in the treetop whisper to me, foolish little boy. Oh, can you see that you're too young to fall in love, to fall in love. Like a weeping willow, you've been weeping for a man, but that little girl won't give you a chance, 'cause you're too young to fall in love. Your heart is too young and tender to be broken so many times. But just wait, my dear, and he will surrender and say, please be mine. Now you know just what to do, so be sure when you say I love you, 'cause you're too young to fall in love, too young to fall in love.
As by request for Nat, the Sinceres, February 1960. It's on the Jordan label. It's called You're Too Young. And two of those group members, Jay Proctor and George Lucky Lloyd, would later form Jay and the Techniques, that recorded for the Smash label. If you know that 1966 hit they had, Apple Peaches Pumpkin Pie from 66. Well, Jay started in that group, the Sinceres from Allentown, Pennsylvania. Johnny G here in Vinyl Treasure Overtime. This next group hails from Harlem, New York. Their debut 45 came out in 1958 on the Central label, and the song was called Did It. They followed it up with a release on Grey Cliff in 59 that was sort of a New York hit. It was called Yes, Oh Baby Yes. But here is their third release that came out on the Isle label. This one from 1960. These are the Ladins on the Isle label. It's called Come On.
Come on,
I really love you, my dear. Come on, don't be shy. You're the only one who captures my eyes. I really love you, my dear. I love you, darling, dear, with all my heart. I really do. And if you don't believe me, oh sweetness, I'm gonna prove it, and prove it, and prove it with a kiss. Well, I love you so. Never let you go. Ooh, you are the girl for me. Like a dream come true because you're the one I love. And if you think I'm jiving, a sweetness, I'm gonna prove it, and prove it, and prove it with a kiss. Well, I love you so. Never let you go. Ooh, you are the girl for me.
Sounds of 1960 here on the Vinyl Treasure Overtime. The Latins there on the Isle label, recorded on different labels. A lot of their records, only one-time issues. Theater, I had another one behind this one on the Groove label. Other labels there, Angie's another one. That's Come On is the name of that one. Now the bass for the group, his name is Bobby J, and Fred mentions in chat his full name, Bobby Jeffries. I think he mentioned that it was his real name. We changed it to Bobby J. He was a DJ. I used to listen to him on WWRL, and later on he was on WCBS FM for a number of years, which was our big oldie station here in New York. I used to listen to Gus Gossert in 1971, that time, but he was on CBS FM too. Then they kicked him off and he went to PIX. And then I used to listen to PIX, and then Norman Knight came around. I don't know, was he on WOR? Was he on CBS too? But then it was all a blur because there were lots of cool oldie stations around. I used to go around the dial, used to listen to one over in Westchester Community College and learned a lot about that. George, I did. But anyway, those are the Latins from 1960 on the Isle label, song entitled Come On. Speaking of George Tompkins, we're going to send this one out to him. I don't know anything about this record though, but it's on the Coaster label. It was distributed by Ace Records. It's from the year 1960. The group is called D. Thomas, D-E-E, D. Thomas and the Versatiles, and it's called In the Garden of Love. We're going to send this one out to George Tompkins. Let's give it a spin.
God made the garden, the birds and the bees.
In the garden of love, in the garden of love, I found happiness. In the garden of love, I hear angels singing. The garden of love, I hear those bells ring. God made the garden, yes, He made the trees. He also I hear those bells ring.
That's from 1960, D. Thomas and the Versatiles there. Don't know anything about the group. It's their only release, written by Dave Healy, whoever that is. But it's on the Coaster label, distributed by Ace Records. Send that one out to George Tompkins, In the Garden of Love. As we continue here, we move into 1961. Let's go back out to California for a female lead with male backing. And this gal goes by the name of Emmy Lou, E-M-M-Y space L-O-U. That's all you get on the label. And I don't know who the group is. And I'm wondering if Emmy Lou is really the writer of this song, which is Emily Parker. If I had to bet on it, I would. But I like this tune here from August of 61. It's on Al Cavlin's Loot label out of Los Angeles, California. This is Emmy Lou with her tune called Love Ya, Need Ya.
As I sit in my room, I'm all in gloom. Won't you come back to me and set my heart free? 'Cause I love you, need you, want you for my own. There were days in the past when our love was new. You left me here to cry, and now I'm still blue. But I love you, need you, want you, and you alone. Where are you? Where are you? Why won't you come on home? I've waited and waited and waited oh so long. Oh, tell me, what shall I do when I'm not with you? 'Cause you're all that I desire. You set my soul on fire. But I love you, need you, want you for my
Her name is Emmy Lou. Emmy Lou and a group, one of those groups on the Loot label, I guess. August 1961, a song entitled Love Ya, Need Ya, as we continue here. And we'll fit a couple more in here. Let's go back. Let's go to the Bronx, New York. I don't know if I was in the Bronx, New York tonight, but this is the debut single, actually the B-side of the debut single for the Earls. The Earls. It's on Trade Martin's Rome label. Of course, the A-side of this was Life Is But a Dream, but I'm going to play the flip, which, by the way, was released under two different titles. One title was called It's You. I don't know if that's the harder one or not, but I have them both. The second one was called Without You. And the tune written by Johnny Power and Trade Martin. This was Trade Martin's Rome label. And Larry Chance is not on lead on this side. The lead singer is Eddie Harder. Eddie Harder, he's the second tenor on this. This is the first of three. Is it first of three, Charlene, or is it more? I don't know. Anyway, these are the Earls with a B-side from April 61 on the Rome label. This one called Without You. It's the one I'm playing.
Without you, my heart would die, darling. I try to the end of eternity. I do without you? Without you. Take my hand, you lead the way to our love. Our love is part of paradise. What would I do without you? You treat me so kind. You say that you love me whenever we're sitting alone. When I'm all alone, I wish for you only to comfort my heart with your love. Take my hand, you're the door to paradise. Love is part of love. What would I do without you?
As I'm getting caught here. Hold on a second, guys. So Charlene, I don't know if that's the right lead singer. It sounds like Larry Chance on that side, really, because now they tell me that there's two different songs I have to check. And anyway, that is the Earls from April 1961. One of the flip sides of Life Is But a Dream. I featured it Without You. I should get the other side and play it next week. We'll know. But that one there on the Rome label. Let's do a few more here. This group from New York, and this is their only release on Eddie Wilcox and Teddy McRae's Ray Cox label. And the members of this group were Lawrence and Joseph Bailey, William Branch, Eddie Brooks, who wrote both sides of this tune, and he's probably doing lead. And it's from 61. They're called The Shallows, SHALLOWS. It's on Ray Cox Records. It's called How Lucky Am I? No, How Lucky I Am. That's a big difference.
Up in the heavens, way up high, I saw your face up in the sky. It's a question, how lucky I am to have a girl like you. Not seeing you makes me sad. Being part of you drives me mad. It's a question, how lucky I am to have a girl like you. Darling, there is no happier guy in this whole wide world, happier than I, to know that you love me the way that you do. Oh gee, how I've waited for a girl like you up in the heavens, way up high. I saw your face up in the sky. It's all how lucky I am to have a girl like you. Oh, I gotta tell you, it's all how lucky I am to have a girl like you.
That group called lost my place. The Shallows. The Shallows there from 1961. It's on the Ray Cox record label. Song entitled How Lucky I Am. Yes, I will have to say that. But anyway, got 3 more records to go. They're requests that I'm going to fill in here. I put more on my Facebook page. You can check, but I'm going to have to get to those next week. But let's go to this one, which is a request for Métis Campboy. This group from Camden, New Jersey, they took their record to Jerry Blavitt to play on his WCAM program, and Jerry asked them, he said, what's your guy's name? What's your name? What are you called? And they said, well, we don't have a name, and hence they were called the No Names. But this tune, written by group member Al Morrison, it was produced by Bob Finez, and it features the lead singer Douglas Gordon on lead. This is by request for Métis Campboy from July 1964. The No Names on the Guidon label. It's called Love.
Resist love. God put woman on earth, a man to love, to cherish, to hold forevermore. A blind man without its key. I am like a violin with one string. I am like the rainbow minus its colors. Yes, my darling, I am like the sky without a star. That's how lonely, that's how much I love you.
That's by request from Métis Campboy. They're called the No Names, N-O space N-A-M-E-S. July 1964, it's on the Guidon label, song entitled Love. The 2 more 45s to go here, and this one here is by request for listener Ira, and he didn't know this. I don't know if he doesn't know this song or not, but it's a girl group out of California on the Bond label. This is the same Bond label that has a very rare 45 by the Ripples on it, Battle of Love, a rare record on this label. But the girl group is called the Deborahs. The Deborahs, it appears to be their only release, and this isn't my favorite side of the record. The flip side I think is much better, but this is a request for Ira from February 63, going out to Ira, the Deborahs on Bond. It's called He's Lazy.
He's lazy, yeah, crazy, yeah, but he's a sweet pie. He's so lazy, 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 he makes me crazy, crazy, crazy. God, he's lazy, 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 but he's my sweet pie. I wanna tell you I can't eat, I can't sleep, the only promise that he be sweet. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I can't drink, I can't think, I know I'll never ever get
That's actually the B-side. That's by request for Ira. The Deborahs, February 63 on the Bond label. Song entitled He's Lazy. Johnny G ain't lazy. Ain't lazy when I prepare for the Vinyl Treasure Show. But anyway, that's going to do it for Johnny G and the Vinyl Treasure Show. I want to thank you for joining Johnny G, listening to original vinyl 45s out of my collection. If you want to get in touch with Johnny G, send me an email at vinyltreasures@aol.com and send me your requests. Let me know thoughts about the show, how you found out about the show. It's always cool to find out how guys and girls find out about the show. But anyway, I just love to play these records every Saturday. Really the only time I get to enjoy the records, and I'm thankful that I do at least have the majority of the requests. I don't have them all, but I do have a lot. I've been collecting since I was a teen, so I have accumulated a lot. Not buying so many now, buying onesies and twosies once in a while. But anyway, I enjoyed the show tonight. Hopefully you did too. So just send me an email. You can also go to my website, vinyltreasures.net, or you could also go back to YouTube and you could look at the show on the archive. I know I'm on for 3 hours. That's a long time. It is, but I know lots of people go to the archive constantly to look at the show. I really appreciate it. And again, thank you so much for sticking around, those of you, those diehards sticking around again, and thank you for your requests. And again, we're going to close the show tonight with a request for George Tompkins, an unusual record, by the way, because this record came out in 1972, and I remember when I was offered this, Greg Surik showed me the record. He goes, "Do you have this record?" And I said, "Well, what is it? It looks like a 70s press." So he said, "Yeah, it's from 1972, but it's got an old sound." So I says, okay. I says, let me listen to it, and I like the record. It's a good song, and it's and I think the lead singer signed this copy. You can go to my Facebook page. It's the last record I posted. There's some others I didn't get to play, unfortunately, but it's the group is called $4,000. $4,000, which I will never spend on a 45, I can tell you that much. But it was written and produced by Millard Peaks, who I think is the lead singer on this. I'm not absolutely sure because Charlene nor I could find any info on this group, but it's on the Long Distance label. It's from 72, the $4,000. It's called Lost Legend. And George Tompkins requested that tune, so I was like, I have this record. I know I do. It took me a while to find it, but I did. But that's going to do it, folks. Thanks a lot for tuning in, and please tune in tomorrow evening for my buddy Dave the Raven, his Relics and Rarity show. It all begins at 9 p.m., 9 to midnight, right here on Top Shelf Oldies, and all the shows on topshelfoldies.org. You can tune in, and we have DJs every night beginning at 8 p.m. on Top Shelf Oldies. I'll be back next Saturday after Clark Davis at 10 p.m. here, 10 to midnight, 10 to 1 now. But again, the show has been expanding in leaps and bounds, and if you're not already subscribed to my YouTube channel, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. You should get automatic email updates if you click that little bell, because I've been doing like spot shows after I do my work here at the house. But anyway, that's going to do it, folks. Thanks so much, Charlene, for all your help again on my crazy research day. And again, I will see you here next Saturday starting at 10 p.m. right here on Top Shelf Oldies and my YouTube station. Everybody have a great week. Stay safe. I'll see you next Saturday. So long.
A story that's not too old, a story of heartache that must be told. You won't read of this story in a paperback book. You may hear from a friend how this legend began. What began as a day of jubilee ended in one of tragedy.
Okay, folks. Wow, that is a pretty cool record from 72, you have to say. But George says that Salmon Drone, the late Salmon Drone, found that record. Let me show you this. This is that Debron's 45. But this is the side. The other side is the side. It only takes one to be lonely. That's the better side, I think. Well, I know that's the better side, but I figured at the end I'd play that for Ira. He gave me a list of a bunch of records that I do have. Some of them, not all of them. And here's this one. I posted this on Facebook. You read what it says. The guy wrote here October 9th, 1983 to Doug from Millard. Best wishes, Millard Peaks. Who is the writer? So I don't know where Greg got the record, but that's the song. This thing goes, believe it or not, this record goes up to $100 now for the record, really, because it's not that easy. How many copies could there be of this, really, you know? But anyway, again, thank you all again for tuning in, and I'll be back next Saturday again. I'll decide if I'm going to play 78's or not. We'll see the response I get, but if you can email me at vinyltreasures@aol.com. But again, thanks again, Charlene, again, for putting up with me with the research. I'll see you guys next week. Have a safe and happy week, everybody. Stay well, stay safe. So long.